Welcome back, dear students. So I think this is the third session on phosphorus cycle. So in this session, we will be discussing on mycorrhiza. So what are the different types of mycorrhiza? What are the benefits of this mycorrhizal association to the plants, and how mycorrhiza is known to provide phosphorus nutrition to the crop plants. So to begin with introduction, so you may be knowing that some fungi will be symbiotically associated with the roots of the higher plants. Here, both the partner, both plant as well as the fungal symbiote are going to get benefited. So plant is going to provide some of the photosynthetic nutrients like carbohydrate and safer house to the fungi, and fungal symbiote is known to provide slow mobile nutrients like phosphorus, zinc, copper, potassium, and also nitrate to the plant root. Under water stress conditions, the mycelia of the fungi are known to travel distant places in search of water, and they are known to directly supply water to the roots of the plants through their mycelia, and thereby they are helping the plant to overcome the drought situation. So with this introduction, so I'll go on to the presentation of mycorrhizae. So I'll be sharing my screens. The term mycorrhiza was coined by one of the soil scientists called A.B. Frank in 1885 to denote the symbiotic association of certain fungi with the roots of higher plants. The word mycorrhiza is a Greek word where myco is meaning fungi and rhiza means roots. So when A.B. Frank was studying on the soil microorganisms, so he observed that some plants are associated with some kinds of fungal mycelia. So he has extracted that mycelia. He has taken out that mycelia that is associated with the roots of the certain plants. So he has taken two parts. He has sterilized the soils and filled the two parts with sterilized soil. In these two plants, in these two plants, one part he has put that mycelia which is associated with the plant root. Another plant he has kept it as a control, and he has put a plant, and when he has grown that, so the observations are astonishing. He got significantly higher growth in the plant that is inoculated with the symbiotic fungi. So with this, so he got interested into the study of this fungi. So later on, he coined the term as mycorrhiza for this fungi and root association. Later on, many scientists studied on mycorrhiza. So here, what will happen is, here you can see that the mycorrhizal association, this is the left side plant is without mycorrhizal association, and the right side plant is with the mycorrhizal association. The mycorrhizal association is known to enhance the root volume, because the fungal mycelia also acts as a roots and increases the reach of the roots, volume of the roots. So here you can see, so this is the plant which is associated with the mycorrhizal fungi. So these are the original roots, and these are the mycorrhizal fungi. So here the mycorrhizal fungi in fact goes inside the cortical cells. It will colonize there, and also the mycelia will also grow outside. So these mycelia can grow at least 10 times the length of the roots. And if there are some nutrient which are deficient here, so these mycelia can travel 10 times the length of the roots and provide these deficient nutrition to the plant, thereby enhances the growth of the plant. So compared to the plant that is not associated with the mycorrhizal fungi. So this plant has a limited availability only around its root zone for the nutrients and water. Whereas this plant, since it is associated with the mycorrhizal mycelia or mycorrhizal fungi, this mycelia can travel a very lot of distances up to several meters and bring or provide the deficient nutrition to this plant. Therefore, we will see the better growth of the plant. So this is a diagrammatic representation of the rhizosphere of mycorrhizal infected plant. So here the artists have shown the increased reach of the area or the increased rhizosphere of the plant. Here also there are these are some of the examples to show how mycorrhizal inoculation will enhance the root as well as shoot growth. This is in onion, this is in some other crop, and this is in cassava. So this is the curioso microscopic picture of a plant root which is associated with mycorrhizal fungi. You can see that how the roots are extending from the mycelial threads are extending from the plant roots. So coming to the types of mycorrhiza, there are mainly two types of mycorrhiza. One is called ectomycorrhiza, another one is called endomycorrhiza. Ectomycorrhiza and endomycorrhiza. The major difference between ectomycorrhiza and endomycorrhiza is, so both are fungi, so and both infect the plant roots and grow. So there is a difference in how they infect the plant roots. In case of ectomycorrhiza, the mycelial threads will enter into the cortical cells and they will grow between the cortical cells. They will grow between the cortical cells. They will not enter inside the cells. You can see in this picture also. And they will grow and form a thick layer of mantle around the roots of the crop which they are infected. Okay. In case of endomycorrhiza, so they grow both intracellularly as well as intercellularly. They grow in between the cells as well as they enter inside the cells of cortical cells. That is the major difference. So here, in case of ectomycorrhiza, mycelia will not enter inside the cortical cells, whereas they grow in between the cells. In case of endomycorrhiza, it will grow between the cells as well as it will enter inside the cells and grow. There is the major difference. Ectomycorrhiza, coming to the ectomycorrhiza, we will discuss first on ectomycorrhiza. So what are their characteristics? What are the roots, characteristics of roots infected with ectomycorrhiza? So ectomycorrhiza are commonly found infected in roots of forest trees, especially in temperate countries or temperate regions. And about 5% of all the vascular plants are known to be associated with ectomycorrhizal fungi. Ectomycorrhiza are known to occur in the tree species of the following family. The trees belonging to Betuliaceae, Salicaceae, Pinaceae, Heliaceae, Fagaceae, Caesalpinaceae, Pinaceae, Toglandaceae. So some of the examples of the trees include pine trees, oaks, beech, alnus, and eucalyptus. So, and as I said earlier, ectomycorrhiza is more common in temperate tree species. And coming to the fungi involved, the most of the fungi which are associated in ectomycorrhizal associations belongs to Basidiomycetes or mushroom fungi. These fungi, they form a fruiting bodies similar to the mushroom fruiting bodies or puff balls. I will show you the puff balls. So examples of these fungi include Amanita, Inocybe, Cenococcus, Physolithus, Boletus, Hebeloma, Tricoloma, Entoloma, and Rosula. And majority of these are Basidiomycetes mushroom fungi. These are the one. This is the red colored one. This is Amanita. So this is fob balls, what we call this fob balls. I will show you that. And there are few fungi are also from Ascomycetes, like tubers, truffles, and marshmallows. So these are the tubers, these are marsh truffles. So these forms, these tubers and truffles are edible mushrooms. They are highly rich in nutrition. So they are rare and they are called princess food. And these tuber and marshmallows, so per kg they cost anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 rupees per kg. They are called as princess food. So here you can see, especially if you go to any forest area, especially if you observe near the root zones of some trees, especially eucalyptus, you can see this type of balls. And if you try to kick these balls, you will get a dust type of material. So dust type of material, which are the spores of mycorrhiza, spores of ectomycorrhizal fungi. These are called fob balls. They contain full of spores. So these are the truffles or tubers. Truffles, they produce tubers. And coming to the characteristics of ectomycorrhizal association. So one of the characteristics, major characteristics of ectomycorrhizal association is, so these roots are devoid of root hairs. They will not have root hairs. So they will become swollen in nature. So they are colored. They take the color of the fungi. They take the color of the fungi. If fungi is green in color, they take green color. If it is olive green, orange, orange color, dark color, white, milky white color, charcoal, black color. So like this, they take the color of the fungi. So they are a little bit swollen and they show dichotomous branching. So dichotomous branching means, here you can see this. So one root hair will be dividing into two. So this root hair will be again divided, two root hairs again twice. This is 4. So this will be again dividing into 2. So like Y side dividing, 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. This show dichotomous branching. And the fungal hyphae forms a thick covering around the roots. It will form a thick layer on the roots, dichotomous roots. And in cortex, so this is the thick fungal hyphae which is formed on the outer surface of the root, epidermis. So, and in cortex, hyphae remain only in the outer cortical cells and form an extensive network of hyphae. So I was showing the picture earlier. So here they form an extensive network of hyphae, but these hyphae will not enter inside the cells. So these, they look like a fingers. They look like these fungal mycelia in the cortex. They look like a finger-like structure, inserting the finger-like structure. So these extensive network of hyphae in the outer cortical cells, they are called as Artignet. So Artignet, these are the sites of nutrient exchange between the host plant and mycorrhizal fungi. And outside the epidermis, that means outside the root, so fungi forms a thick layer of mycelia, so which is called as a rhizomorph, which runs into several meters. So it runs from one plant and connects the next neighboring plant, so that they will interring all the plants in a garden or in a forest. So these are some of the roots of the ectomycorrhizal roots. You can see the dichotomous branching and also the change in color, different color. And here you can see the Artignet, the finger-like structure. This is the mantle which is grown on the epidermis. This is the same dichotomous branching of the ectomycorrhizal fungi. And these ectomycorrhizal fungi can be isolated, can be grown, isolated in using artificial media. It can be grown under an artificial media in laboratory on a media called Melinocrans medium, MNM medium. But here, fungi needs a special cofactors or amino acids like thymine, like thymine, and other simple amino acids. But even after that, although the mycorrhizal fungi grows on artificial media, it grows very slowly. It may take weeks or months together to grow. So this is about ectomycorrhizal fungi. Okay. Now we will discuss on endomycorrhizal fungi. Endomycorrhizal fungi, there are three types of endomycorrhizal fungi. One is called vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza, or VAM, or arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, AM fungi. And second one is orchidaceous mycorrhiza, and third one is ericoid mycorrhiza. So we will discuss about all these three endomycorrhizal fungi one after the other. So first we will discuss on ericoid mycorrhiza. So the mycorrhiza which is found associated with the plants belonging to order Ericales or teeth plants are called as ericoid mycorrhiza. So the examples of Ericaceae family or order Ericales include blueberries, azilla, rhododendron, and canberry. So these are also called as teeth plants. One of the most commonly found fungi that is associated with the Ericales is Figigella ericae. So this fungi can also be cultivated artificially in the laboratory. So, and in New Zealand, they've already started the commercial scale multiplication of this Figigella ericae in large scale with a trade name mycoid. So in New Zealand, they have found that inoculation of this Figigella ericae, ericoid mycorrhiza in blueberries to increase the yield of blueberries by 15%. Coming to the association, so most of the ericale plants, that is blueberry, canberry, raspberry, these plants, they won't produce extensive roots. The root system will be very small. So because of which, for taking absorption of the nutrients, they depend on mycorrhizal association. So here, in case of ericoid mycorrhiza, so the fungal mycelia will enter inside the cortical cells. So inside the cortical cells, so it will form an extensive coiling of hyphae, So these coils inside the cells, so they releases and cover. The coils will get released and cover the entire cells with a network of hyphae. And here the mycelia will not enter from one cell to another cell. They will be confined to one cell. And in these cells, the cells contains several vacuoles type structures which contains polyphenol granules or storage food materials. And here the fungi help in the uptake of phosphorus, slow mobile nutrients like phosphorus. Along with that, it also helps in the uptake of nitrogen in the form of nitrate. So this is about ericoid mycorrhiza. Next, we will study about orchidaceous mycorrhiza. Okay. Next, we will discuss on orchidaceous mycorrhizal fungi. The mycorrhizal fungi that is associated with the orchids are the plants belonging to family Orchidaceae. Orchidaceae are called as orchidaceous mycorrhizal fungi. I will repeat, the mycorrhizal fungi which are associated with the roots of orchids are called as orchidaceous mycorrhizal fungi or orchid mycorrhiza. So an orchidaceous family has highest number of plant species, that is more than 3,000 species. And all orchids are associated with mycorrhiza, except only few species of orchids has ability to grow without the association of mycorrhiza. Example, Cephalanthera, Listera, Epipactis, Cypripedium have ability to grow. Out of 3,000 species, only these 3, 4 or 5 species have ability to grow without the association of mycorrhiza. But even these species, if artificially inoculated, they will get associated with the mycorrhiza. So, and the association of mycorrhiza is obligatory or absolute necessary for orchids to grow from seed into plants, because majority of the orchids have little or no chlorophyll and they produce tiny seeds. The seeds of the orchids are very small. The biggest seed weighs 14 microgram, not milligram, they weighs 14 microgram. Okay. Under favorable condition, the orchid seeds imbibe water. Whenever there is a water, it imbibes the water. So it becomes bigger in size, swells in size. It breaks open the outer seed pores. It exposes the epidermal hair. So it exposes the epidermal hair, and epidermal hair waits for infection of mycorrhizal fungi. So under this stage, the seeds is called protocarp. So protocarp waits up to 6 months for mycorrhizal fungi. So even after that, if mycorrhizal fungi doesn't infect, this plant seed is not develop into a plant and it will get killed. So one of the major fungal genera that is associated with the orchids include Tulasnella species. Example is Tulasnella calospora. This fungus can also be considered under laboratory. So these are the orchid seeds. So on these orchids does not require artificial inoculation of the fungi, because the infection occurs naturally by the airborne spores of the mycorrhizal fungi. So this photograph shows the seeds of orchids. So you can see how small they are. Welcome back. Now we will discuss on another important mycorrhizal fungi, which is an endomycorrhizal fungi called as vesicular arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, or just arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, fungi. So these WAM fungi are known to associated with almost all the crop species or all the plants that are present on the earth. Whether you take herbs, shrubs, grasses, or trees, they are associated with almost all the plants. So except for the plants belonging to 4 family, that is Cruciferaceae, Chenopodiaceae, Cyperaceae, and Polygonaceae. So even plants belonging to these 4 families can also be inoculated with force inoculation. These plants also will get associated with the WAM fungi. So these mycorrhiza, they are called as WAM because they produce 2 structures inside the cortical cells. These 2 structures are called vesicles. One is vesicles, which are storage structures. Another one is called arbuscles, so which are formed by the branching of hyphae, because of which they are called WAM. So here you can see is inside the cortical cells. These are the thin-walled globular structures, which are food storage structures, which are called as vesicles. And this inside the cells, the hyphae forms an extensive branching, extensive network. So this is called arbuscle. Okay. So here also a same picture, a complete picture. This is a cortical cells. This is a fungal WAM mycelia. So here the vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza grows both intracellularly as well as intercellularly. It will grow in cortical, it will grow inside the cells of the cortical cells and also in between the cells, and also it will interconnect between the cells also. So within the cells it produces vesicles. These are the vesicles, and these are the branching of hyphae called as arbuscles. Here you can see this is arbuscles and these are the vesicles. Arbuscles are the site of nutrient exchange between the host plant and the fungi. There are 6 genera of worm fungi, known as Glomus, Sclerocystis, Gigaspora, Scutilospora, Aculospora, Enterospora. So, and recently 2 new genera have been identified, Archaeospora and Paraglomus. So, you should remember at least 1 or 2 genera of worm fungi for exam point of view. So, among these 6 genera, so all genera produces arbuscles, but only 4 genera will produce vesicles. Gigaspora and Scutulophora will not produce vesicles. So because of this, we call them as a arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, because all genera produce arbuscles. And this worm mycorrhiza is known to be associated with more than 1,000 genera of plants belonging to more than 200 families. And there are about 150 known species of worm fungi. Gigaspora and Scutulospora, as I said earlier, do not produce vesicles. And on the part of worm fungi, so the association with the plant root is absolute necessary or obligate. It's an obligate symbiote. It cannot grow without the association with the roots of the plant. So, and even it cannot be cultivated in the laboratory artificially. If you want to multiply this fungi, you have to multiply with the roots of the plants only, and they cannot grow without the plant association of plant root. And this fungi is an cenocytic. They do not have a cross walls or septa in between the cells. They are cenocytic and they have the ability to grow 80 to 100 times the length of the roots. And here they are known to supply many nutrients, slow mobile nutrients and other nutrients as well as water. So they are known to provide phosphorus, copper, zinc, potassium, even nitrate nutrition. And they are also known to provide water during the water stress conditions. And this is the vesicular arbuscular mycorrhiza. So this is the outer cortical cells. So this is the mycelia where they enter intracellularly between the cells and also within the cells. Within the cells, they form vesicles and arbuscles. Arbuscles are the sites of nutrient exchange. Vesicles are the storage structures. So vesicle is a thin-walled globular structure which acts as a storage structure. The arbuscle, the highly branched structure of fungi, which are the site of nutrient exchange between fungi and host. And outside the cortical cells, the mycelia produces spores called as chlamydospores, which are reproductive structure. These are asexual reproductive structure, chlamydospores. And these are the vesicles. I'm sorry, these are not the vesicle, these are the spores, chlamydo, these are the left side, the different colored spores which are called as chlamydospores. So these chlamydospores, size, shape as well as the color, and when you press them, how they open will change with the different species of, different genera and species of the mycorrhiza. Okay, so now we will discuss how the mycorrhizal mycelia will help in the uptake of phosphorus nutrition to the crop plants. So mechanism of phosphorus uptake by AM fungi. So we will discuss how the mycorrhizal mycelia will help in providing the phosphorus nutrition to the roots of the plants. So here you should remember that in soil, phosphorus moves very slowly. Phosphorus is a very immobile or a slow mobile element in the soil. So the rate at which, if there are phosphorus here, inorganic phosphate groups here present around the root zone, you should remember that the rate at which the plant take up the phosphorus from the soil solution is much faster than the rate in which phosphorus moves in the soil solution. So whatever the phosphorus are there in the around the plant root, it take up at faster rate So since phosphorus moves slowly, so it will create a phosphorus depletion zone around the plant roots. So if the plant is, in this case, if the plant is associated with the mycorrhizal fungi, so the mycorrhizal fungi can grow and travel much more beyond the phosphorus depletion zone. It reaches the place where phosphorus is present and supply the phosphorus directly into the plant roots. It is observed that the mycorrhizal fungi can grow up to 60 centimeter or even up to several meters. So coming to the mechanism, how the phosphorus, inorganic phosphorus is supplied through mycelia is, you may be knowing that this mycelia is cenocytic. It will not have any cross walls in between. So as soon as the phosphorus enters the hyphae, as soon as the phosphorus enters, the soluble phosphorus enter the hyphae, so it will, the inorganic phosphates are linked together to form a chains of phosphorus called as polyphosphate granules. So these the formation of polyphosphate granules is aided or helped by the enzyme polyphosphate kinase. So once the polyphosphate granules are formed, it will move through the mycelia through diffusion mechanically, and it will through the tip of arbuscles. Through the tip of arbuscles, it will be released. Through the tip of arbuscle, it will be released into the cortical cells. So once it moves into the cortical cells, so from the cortical cells, it will move to the upper part of the plant by diffusion, because concentration of phosphorus will be higher in the roots compared to the leaves. Here, you should remember that mycorrhizal fungi will not help in or will not solubilize the phosphorus. It will not convert unavailable form of phosphorus to available form of phosphorus. It will only mobilize the soluble form of phosphorus that is available away from the root to the roots. Okay. Okay. So now we will discuss on what are the benefits of mycorrhizal fungi to plant, or what are the different mechanisms by which AM fungi promote the growth of the plants. So one, it helps in the uptake of nutrients that are less mobile in soil solutions like phosphorus, copper, zinc, molybdenum, boron. So it is also known to supply nitrogen nutrition, that is nitrate. It is also known to help in the uptake of water under water stress condition, thereby help the plants to overcome the drought conditions. So WAM also known to protect plants against the invasion of the plant pathogen and also invasion of nematodes by forming a thick mantle, a wall around the outer corticals or epidermal layer. And also some WAM are also known to produce antibiotic, so which will prevent the growth of pathogenic fungi. So it also known to increase the disease resistance in the plants. So WAM also known to produce plant growth promoting substances like indolacetic acid, gibberellic acid, cytokinins, which are known to enhance the root and shoot growth of the plant. So mycorrhizal fungi, also known to have a synergistic interaction or beneficial interactions with the plant beneficial microorganisms like Azospirillum, Azotobacter, which are nitrogen fixer, and phosphate solubilizing microorganisms. So thereby it will encourage the growth of beneficial microorganism in the plant root zone and helps in the providing the more plant nutrients and good growth and yield. And the mycorrhizal plant is known to help plant to overcome the transplantation shock. So it will help in the overcoming of transplantation shock in plant, whichever the plant where transplantation is going to take place. So this is the table which will give the distinguishing characteristics of 4 types of mycorrhiza. So that whatever we have studied, these are the differences. This table gives the differences between the 4 types of mycorrhiza. Hyphae. So in case of VAM, it is an aseptate. In case of ectomycorrhiza, it is a septate or aseptate. Ericoid and archidaceous mycorrhiza, they are septate. Intracellular hyphae, which will enter inside the cells. VAM will enter, ericoid mycorrhiza will enter, archidaceous will enter, ectomycorrhiza will not enter. Mantle, ectomycorrhiza will form mantle. Artignate, ectomycorrhiza will form artignate. Hyphal coils, ericoid, archid mycorrhizas will form hyphal coil. Vesicles are formed by VAM, but not all genera, except 2 genera. Growth on artificial media, except VAM, all other fungi can be grown. Taxonomy, so VAM belongs to Phycomycetes. So ectomycorrhiza belong to Ascomycetes, Phycomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Ericoid mycorrhiza, Ascomycetes, and Archidaceous mycorrhiza belongs to Basidiomycetes. Host plant, so in VAM, in fact, all plants, Angiosperm, Gymnosperm, Pteridophyte, Bryophytes, everything. Ectomycorrhiza, Angiosperms and Gymnosperms, especially tree species in temperate regions. So ericoid mycorrhiza, ericaceous plants. Archidaceous mycorrhiza, archidaceous plants. So this is about phosphorus cycle and mycorrhiza. So this will complete the phosphorus cycle. So thank you. Thank you, Ananda.